Did you guys know about the Creature Crate Patreon? Every month you'll get amazing files that you can make, like this Donkey Kong, this dragon, this robot tech scarab, this Cerberus, or this super cool set of Bulbasaurs. You can also sell the prints from these files as an authorized seller. Join the Creature Crate Patreon now. Link is in the description below. Hey guys, what's up? Nico again here, and in this 3D Printed Profits episode, I have with us Natalie Ashton. Natalie, where are you coming from?
I'm from Roanoke, Virginia.
Virginia. All right. And so Natalie's going to talk to us about her business. But before we do that, just a couple of things. Make sure you guys follow us in our Facebook group at a 3D Printing Side Hustle group. The link for that is in the description below. And make sure you guys stay till the very, very, very end, where I'm going to give you your own product idea for your own 3D printing side business. All right. So, Miss Natalie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So let's start with your background here. Is the business currently right now still a side hustle?
I'm teetering right on the edge. I've been offered some grants that will help me make it my full-time job, but I'm still in the process of applying for those.
Okay. And so what are you doing full-time right now?
I'm an accountant. I'm a business manager for our local science museum. I have stepped away from that job in a full-time capacity. I work about 3 full days a week for the science museum, and then the other 2 days a week I'm working with my 3D printing business.
Sweet. Awesome. And so let's dive into the 3D printing aspect. How did you get into this? Because accounting in the museum and then 3D printing, that's hard to connect. So how'd you get there?
Yeah. When the pandemic started, I found myself with a little extra cash. I have always been really into cosplay, and I started getting beaten by everybody else who had 3D printers. So I decided that, hey, I needed to up my game and get a 3D printer. Unfortunately, it was a time where there wasn't a lot of cons. So I started looking around at other things I could do with this machine. And, being an accountant, I have sort of a functional approach to 3D printing. So I started taking just planters, just cute little flower pots that I had designed to free events. And it's turned out, because I'm really into gardening, I started going into gardening and homesteading type groups. And just kind of asking them, hey, around your farm, around your garden, what is it that you struggle with that's made out of plastic? And I started to hear over and over again that these kind of simpler poultry incubators weren't able to rotate eggs other than chicken eggs.
And you were like, you know what? I'm going to invent one.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Pretty much, I went looking on Etsy to see if someone else was doing it, just looking online. I did find somebody else who was doing it and who wanted to get out of the business. So I did purchase some of her printers, and I took a look at her files and decided not to go with her files themselves. But I did base my designs off of her. So I do make sure that on all of my products, I give a shout out to her and leave a link to where you can give her a tip. But yeah, I kind of came at it from a business perspective. What can I print that I know people already want?
That's smart. And how much money are you making currently per month on the business?
Well, hatching eggs is a very seasonal business. So the first half of the year, I make most of my money. In April, we made $8,600. We're starting to tail off a little bit from that, but pretty generally, I'm around between $3,000 and $6,000 a month.
Wow. That's pretty good for such that's a pretty fine niche. And for that, that's pretty good. So how did you get your first customers and your first clients?
Well, I started pounding the pavements. I was going to Tractor Supply stores all over the nation and some other parts of the world. They have like a monthly event where people can come with their livestock to swap with other poultry enthusiasts.
Okay.
And so I started going there to get my first customers. From there, I built an Etsy shop that's been very successful. Started selling on Amazon, and
wow, Amazon, huh?
Yeah,
Is it like Amazon Handmade or like actual Amazon big
actual
store
Amazon.
Amazon? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And My biggest problem thus far has been keeping up with demand. So, for instance, right now my Amazon shop is on vacation because if I leave it just going full bore, I can't keep up with the processing time. So that's one thing that I'm really working on right now is growing.
Awesome. So we'll come back to Amazon here in a little bit. When you got your first customers and your first sales, what happened next?
Well, I had to figure out how to ship them, what kind of packaging to use, how much inventory to keep, and it, as far as like product, and then as far as filament and boxes and things like that. So for me, it was starting kind of to write down the processes of what I was doing, and then also to figure out how I could print them more efficiently. And my products have now been through about 3 or 4 variations in the last year and a half to get them to a better place. So doing things like putting in things like I use the Big Tree Tech filament sensor, making sure that I have the right bed surface, and then changing nozzle sizes.
Gotcha, gotcha. So after you got your first sales, this money's starting to come in. Did you then just buy more machines?
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of it. I made sure that I got set up as a company, got insurance, got started taking in sales tax and stuff like that. Being an accountant, luckily I kind of had a leg up in that, and I had a
Yeah, yeah.
knowledge of what that process was. But yeah, I started buying new machines. I don't have a background in CAD, so I started making sure that I had a really reliable CAD resources to reach out to when I needed improvements to my trays. I can do a little bit here and there, but as far as making these functional parts, I needed somebody who had a strong background in that.
Gotcha. And what machines are you using now to make these?
Well, so I started out using Ender 5s, but with the Ender 5 build plate area, I could only print 1/3 of the product. So I
Yeah,
had
it's
to
very
make 3 different
small.
parts and then assemble them. Yeah. So I actually moved and started using some CR10s, but I really needed just a little bit more room. So I'm currently printing with the Sunlu S8 Pros.
Really?
However, in May, I won Virginia's largest startup competition, and
Wow.
part of that, yes, and part of those funds, I've worked with a 3D printing designer, and we have come up with a design for a 400 by 400 by 400 custom machine that is dedicated to manufacturing, as opposed to getting the Ender 5 Plus and working from there. So those machines, we're testing them right now. We're hoping to roll them out for like full-time use on my products in the next couple weeks.
Congratulations. Look at you guys. So why didn't you
Yeah.
just get a CR10 S4?
Because I could build these ones cheaper and they were Core XY.
Ah, look at you. Look at you. All right. I see ya. And what filament are you using?
I use new makers.
New makers.
I'm here in Virginia, and they're on the other side of Virginia, but they work with only American sourced resin. And being that my products are for farmers, I like the idea of using an American made product that's just completely American derived. It's really neat if you think about it. I'm using a material that's derived from American farms to help American farmers raise more birds.
That is really cool. I love that. I love that. And is new makers can we buy this filament on Amazon or
Yeah.
just
hmm They have
they're on Amazon?
they're on Amazon. They also they have really really wonderful bulk deals. So if you buy 10 rolls, I believe it's 14.99. It might be 13.99 right now.
Wow.
And they just started an affiliate program like yesterday, so I signed up for that. But with the funds that I won through that competition, they actually delivered 150 rolls to me on Friday. So I
That's
just
a
did a bunch of
lot of rolls.
yeah, it was so cool. It's like all these boxes, and I did a couple of videos for my social media and stuff of like
That's
taking all of
300
them down
pounds
to
of
my workshop.
plastic.
It's 330 pounds of plastic. Yes.
That's a lot of plastic. Um, so do you have a print farm now? Or how
Yeah, I
is that
mean,
working?
yeah, so I have 6 of these Sunlu S8s, and I will have 7 of the new printers coming. So yeah, it's still in my house. But things are moving pretty quickly right now. So I've been contacted by an agricultural accelerator and they're interested in moving the 3D printing farm to their location and helping me find employees to do it. I'm a solopreneur right now. I'm the only one kind of working on the company at all. And it's getting to a point where I'm having to make a choice between, do I start focusing on sales and marketing and getting my products into Tractor Supply? Or do I continue working on the actual manufacturing process of it? And, you know, it's a hard decision, because before I started 3D printing, I would tell you that, hey, you know, my skills are definitely better focused on the sales and marketing side of things. But I've gotten a level of expertise now. I have about 3,000 hours of 3D printing under my belt at this point, and I don't know if I'm going to find somebody who, in my area, who's going to have that sort of expertise to run my shop. So, you know, it's like on a day-to-day basis, like kind of figuring out which direction we're going to go. But, you know, one thing that I would like to tell anybody here who's really starting to get their side hustle up and running is reach out to your small business development center. People are blown away with 3D printing, and there are lots of grants that are available for side hustles. And they'll help you get paperwork together and put you into programs that can help you develop your business further. And I wouldn't be here today with as successful a business as I have if it hadn't been for the resources that I got reaching out to the business community where I live.
That's an amazing piece of advice. I hope you guys heard that. And I hope you guys are still here listening to this show, because that was a big nugget of advice. Thank you for that, Natalie. Um, so what struggles did you have when you first started? And how did you get over that?
Well, you know, what I'm printing is kind of like a big rubber band. So, you know, a lot of the problems I had first getting started was making sure that I could reliably get the part print. You know, we all know if you're here doing 3D printing that there's so many variables that can happen that just kind of throw your machines out of whack. You know, I live in the South. We have lots of humidity issues, you know, big temperature fluctuations. You know, I'm printing in my basement, unfortunately, right now. So, you know, every now and then there in the beginning, there would be a couple of weeks where just couldn't get anything to stick. And, you know, I would run through the inventory that I had. And you know, it takes a lot of dedication. I'm printing practically 24 hours a day. So, you know, there are nights where I'm waking up at 3 in the morning to turn the printers so that I can get orders out for the next day. And, you know, it's a dedication. It's a making things a habit. I do have a day job and I have two little kids. And so, you know, it's balancing everything.
Gotcha. And so how did you start selling on Amazon? Like that's not something that people on my show often do. So tell me more about Amazon. You were just like, you know what, I'm
Sure.
just gonna start selling on these.
Yeah. Well, so this is kind of how it happened. So the person who I originally kind of met with to figure out how this process started was only on Etsy. And from there, I went to say, all right, well, so Etsy's great. I want to find a way to keep more of my products. And I'm going to start looking around. So I went to Shopify. So I started my Shopify store, and Shopify has all these integrations. One of them is Amazon.
Yes.
So I said, hey, I know that's where people go to shop. I know it's going to be hard to get on there, but I'm going to do it. So it took me about probably a month and a half to jump through all the hoops that you have to go through to do it. Shopify had some good resources on how to do that. And um, you know, I think the process was like a video interview, sending in your documents, and you know, and it was something I had to stay on top of for several weeks. But at this point, I think 66% of my sales or so come from Amazon, and
Wow.
you know, they have very, very high standards. You know, a 1% defect rate, a 4% late shipping rate over the course of 10 days. And when, you know, I'm not selling the kind of volume that a lot of Amazon sellers are. So that 1% defect rate, you
Makes a
know, that
big
can be,
difference.
yeah, yeah. So, you know, quality control is really, really important when you're selling on a platform like Amazon. And being that it's just me, has actually kind of made that easier. So, so yeah, I just feel like there are, you know, you can get your products into places like that. I'm in the process right now of getting on Walmart's website. And I think I'm blessed in
Getting
that
on Walmart would be huge.
yes. Yeah. And I'm blessed in that my product has this just already there demand. So and there was already one person on Amazon selling my products. So that also helped in the process of doing that. Um there's a whole there's a whole thing you have to go through when you're not selling a product that's already on Amazon. And while there was a product like mine, I had to go through a process of having um I'm trying to remember the process called, but it was a very involved process to get on Amazon and then to sell a product to Amazon that doesn't already have an international number.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's really interesting because Amazon is an avenue that people with 3D printers don't do because Amazon, when you buy it, you gotta ship it and it's gotta be wherever it is in 2 days.
Yes.
Um, so are you did you sign up for like Prime where they order it and then you got the 2 day shipping? Is it fulfilled by Amazon where you have a whole bunch of inventory, you send it to a warehouse and Amazon fulfills it? How does that work?
So I don't have the level of inventory yet to do fulfilled by Amazon, so I'm doing it myself.
So you're
And
not on the
I
Prime where people order it and then you get the 2 day shipping.
So no, not on Prime. I have a 5-day processing time. But you can opt to pay more to get both expedited shipping and expedited processing.
Got it.
Um, that has caused some problems within my operation, especially if you're on the West Coast. So I'm in Roanoke, Virginia, and if someone were to buy in Seattle, buy my product late at night, um, Seattle time, after I've printed my orders for the day and like put everything together for the post office to pick up, um, that could be a problem for me, and it's something that I'm still kind of working on. But I definitely think Amazon is something that is worthwhile if you can demonstrate that you have the sales to do it, and that you have a big enough markup. You hear all the time that Etsy, raise their rates and everything. It's nothing compared to Amazon.
No kidding.
Yeah, Amazon's cut is high. Now they do give way better discounted shipping than any other platforms that I've been on, but um, their expected rate is closer to 30%.
Dang.
Yeah. So, and it's been kind of a trade-off. Like I would love to get all that traffic on my website or on Etsy, but right now I'm not able to do that through search engine optimization. People are going to Amazon to look for these things. So, I am making money on these orders, but not a lot, but it's a way to get customers to me and to build my sales so that when I go in front of investors, which I'm doing later this week, I can show them that people want this, even if they're not making a lot of money off of each individual sale.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what's working today in terms of marketing? Is it just because the product is such a hot commodity, it's such a hot item? Does marketing just kind of do its own thing? Like on Amazon, bang, you don't have to worry about social media or anything like that because it's such a great product.
Well, that has been the case until very recently. I'm starting to do some more marketing as I'm trying to scale the business larger, as I'm trying to grow. As a baseline, without doing any marketing, I know that I'm going to bring in 3, 5, 7 orders a day. I'd love for that number to be closer to 10 or 15. So one of the things that I'm working on right now is figuring out what I do as far as marketing. I've been trying to make reels and TikToks and see if that's gonna help it all.
Whatever the young kids are doing nowadays.
Right, right. But I am starting to think, to look at whether I should start hiring, an outside firm, an outside person to handle my marketing as I'm trying to grow the products to a point where I go beyond doing individual sales to hopefully doing some business to business sales.
That's so cool. Natalie, that's it for me.
All right.
Amazing story. You're so good with business. You have a great head on your shoulders. You're gonna do big things with this business, and I'm so proud of you. So let's wrap this up with your number one tip for anyone who wants to start their own 3D printing business.
Level your bed. Is that what everyone says? Level your bed. Um,
Level your bed.
no, no. In all seriousness, is experiment with those things that those variables that you can. So material, temperature, and nozzle size in your bed. You know, if you're really trying to get this off the ground, make sure that you can present a quality product to people that you can produce reliably.
There you go. Natalie, thank you so much for being here. That was such a great story. I'm so impressed by your brains, your wisdom. I'm I'm super stoked for where you're going to take this business. So I told everybody that if you stay to the very, very, very end, I'll give you your own product idea so you can start your own 3D printing business. And my product idea for today is going to be hair combs. Yes, those things for some of you don't brush your hair. You should. And so hair combs, you guys, how can you customize a hair comb that people have never seen before? That's what you guys should be doing with these 3D printers. The 3D printers they're there so you can make things that people have never seen before. And because people have never seen them before, they will buy it, especially if you put it in the industry where they're like, dang, that's really cool. We've never seen that before, and I want it. Just like what Natalie did. These poultry incubators, no one's made them. No one's done them. She made it. And now she's about to be on Shark Tank in 2 weeks, you guys. She's not. I'm just saying. Anyway,
One
Natalie,
year.
1 year.
One
I'm
year.
looking for that episode. Anyway, Natalie, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Good luck to you, and I hope for the best.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.